So, how's employment doing across the world? First of all, it's very difficult to measure this accurately given the statistics that are provided by the United Nations and the countries without going to the core of the statistical evaluations to figure out what they're actually measuring. Just specific unemployment doesn't give a full picture. You have underemployment. You have people that are no longer on the books in their countries for employment. These measures compiled together paint a very, very different picture than what you see. But I'm going to give you the standard numbers, and I want you to understand that these standard numbers are going to be much, much worse. The International Labor Organization, the ILO, as of October 1st of this year, puts global unemployment at about 213 million. Now, you can make what you want of this number as far as the validity of it, but that's for another conversation. It's the trend that's really going to give everything away. In 2007, there was 178 million unemployed. And now, in 2009, 2010, there's 213 million. So it's a fairly substantial percentage increase that's happened. Of course, it relates to the global financial crisis, but there's something much more profound going on here, which I will talk about when I get to the issues of technological unemployment at a later point. But let it just simply be understood that over the course of the past 10 years, overall as a trend, percentage unemployment has increased. And what really gives this away is, in fact, the global poverty numbers that have also increased, which I'll go over next. According to the World Bank, 1.4 billion people live on less than $1.25 a day. That is the accepted extreme poverty line, $1.25 a day. Now, generally speaking, people say, oh, well, poverty line, 1.4 billion. I guess that's not that bad, right? Well, let's go to $2 a day. How many people live on less than $2 a day? That would be 2.5 billion people living on less than $2 a day. Now, jumping ahead here, about 5.5 billion people, or 80% of the world's population, lives on less than $10 a day. I would like everybody listening to put themselves in those shoes for a moment. We're not talking about $10 for food, or $10 for utilities, or $10 for housing. We're talking total. Now, if you look at the trends associated with these things, what you tend to find is that at the very lowest level of extreme poverty, things have actually gotten better. But all they've done is increase higher level forms of poverty, which is the way I will define it. Anyone living on less than $2 a day, $2.50 a day, $3 a day, doesn't matter where you are, you're in extreme poverty. I would like any American to fly to Somalia, one of the poorest countries on the planet, with the intent to spend less than $3 a day on your rent, on your food, and I'd like to see how far you actually get. The so-called progress in the war against poverty has been a complete illusion. It has raised the standard of living, but only to a level that is still equally as absurd as the extreme rates they were prior. In fact, and I apologize for the tangent, I'm going to bring this to the level of the United States for a second. In the United States, the same fraudulent statistical model of this poverty line that's assumed is in full force as well. You have hedge fund managers bringing home $200, $300 million a year, while the poverty line in the United States for a three-person family, husband, wife, and a son or daughter, is, guess what, in the 48 contiguous states, $18,310. I would like anyone out there in the United States to try and live on less than $20,000 a year with three people in your family. Let's see that happen. I'd like to see that. Obviously, it's being done, but just imagine the state of deprivation that generates. In fact, I did a very quick calculation to see how this would play out. The average rent, according to the 2003 census, was about $684 per month. Sorry for the outdated data. I'm sure it's higher now. But okay, $684 per month for the average rent or mortgage. So that's $8,208 a year. Now let's take into account energy costs. 15 cents per kilowatt hour with an average usage in 2008 of 920 kilowatt hours a month brings it to $1,656 a year. So that brings our total spending power after rent and electricity to $8,446. and divide that rate by each person in the household, which is 3, so you have $2,815, which equates to $7.71 a day to spend on food and transportation and health insurance. Health insurance, of course, is thrown right out the window in an equation like this. No one making $20,000 a year, unless they have a good job, is going to be having health insurance out of pocket, that's for sure. So $7.71 a day. I guess if you're eating McDonald's Happy Meals every meal of the day, you might be okay. And of course, this doesn't even take into account all the general problems associated with living, any type of health problem, any type of transport problem. I'll just stop there.